Todd Jones, and this is the real Ithaca story. For weeks we've been learning about what really went down in Odyssey, and it's not over yet. We especially have each character from books 23 and 24 tonight. Due to copyright issues, each character has to share their experiences and have come together to discuss what went down in books 23 and 24. Let's begin with book 23. It all begins with a nurse.
Wow, I've never been on TV before. Anyway, I was super excited the great Odysseus returned, and I just had to go tell Penelope. So I went up the stairs and said, "Penelope, child, wake up. See for yourself with your own eyes. All you dreamed all of your days. He's here, Odysseus. He's come home." But Penny didn't really believe me. Stupid nurse. She doesn't even know what she's talking about. First of all, she's decided to wake me up and to start saying my husband has returned. Please. My husband has been gone for 20 years, and who knows where with who knows what. She must have been crazy to say he had returned and killed all of the suitors. It simply isn't possible. So then I thought, the nurse is making fun of me? So I called her out on it. But she said she was telling the truth, and Odysseus was the stranger that was in the hall. I couldn't be happier, so then I had the nurse tell me what happened. I heard some fighting, but I didn't actually see what went on. It was only until Telemachus came and got me. I saw Odysseus standing with all of the corpses. It was not a pretty sight to see. But now the house is being fumigated, and I was sent to retrieve Penelope so she could reunite with her lost love.
Juicy stuff, ladies.
She's got her story straight out of a book. There's no way that Odysseus is here and did all of that. What is he, a god? I didn't know how to make it any simpler. Odysseus is here, in Ithaca. The suitors are dead. But Penny still didn't believe me, so I reminded her of the scar I saw while washing the stranger's feet. It was a clear indication that it was Odysseus. Penny then reluctantly went to see what happened with the suitors. So I went downstairs to see if the nurse was telling the truth. I saw Telemachus and Odysseus, and I sat across from them. I looked at this man that claimed to be my long-lost husband, but it did not look like him. I mean, if it really was Odysseus, then he wouldn't be covered in rags. I could not believe it. My mother barely said hello to my father. I thought it was so rude, so I said to her, "Why do you spurn my father so? Why don't you sit beside him, engage him, ask him questions?" It's not that easy to just ask questions. Think the gods Odysseus told Telemachus to leave. First of all, I had to explain to Telemachus that I have to let his mother interrogate me to find out if I really am her husband. So I told Telemachus to go wash himself up, put fresh clothes on, and tell the maids to dress nice. I also suggested we had the bard come. We had to make it look like a wedding so no one noticed the suitor's death.
I guess, the underworld had frozen over. I mean, the queen had actually married.
Most importantly, I had to get out of those rags. I was covered in filth. So I bathed, dressed wonderfully, and Athena had even made me taller. If I say so myself, I almost looked godlike. I then went to go present myself to Penelope. The stranger might have looked nice, however, it was all too fast for me. I wanted to sleep alone, so I ordered the nurse to move the bridal bed. It was really the true test for the stranger that claims he is my husband. I could not believe her. Had she gone crazy? I knew for a fact you could not move the bridal bed. It was built around an olive tree, and there was no way to remove it. I admonished her for her stupidity. It was Odysseus. I felt like I died and gone to Mount Olympus. Only my husband knew the bed could not move. Of course, it could not have been a happy ending. I had to do a sacrifice to Poseidon, but first my wife demanded to hear my story. I explained how I fought the Cyclones, dragged my men away from the Lotus Eaters, escaped from the Cyclops, visited Aeolus, survived the last Dragonians, spent my time with Circes, consulted Tiresias, resisted the Sirens, made it past Charybdis and Scylla, how my men slaughtered the cattle of the sun, and how I ended up on Calypso's island. After telling my story, Telemachus, the swineherd, the cowherd, and myself left for our journey.
A lot has happened, but it's not over yet. The story has one more book. Now, it starts.
It all began when I had to lead the ghosts of the wretched suitors. There was as many suitors as the amount of women Zeus had had children with. I'm still waiting for my yearly bonus.
First of all, I was bothered by all the ghosts that were surrounding me. Ajax and Antilochus started to gather around me. AG, AG, he started to come towards us. I greeted him, and how unfortunate it was that he died so early. Such a wretched death.
Oh, Achilles, we go way back. I started to talk to him and how the best of the best died around him. We had a lovely conversation until Hermes came with the suitors. I was shocked at how many there were and questioned why they were here. I just thought they had wrecked their ships, tried to take over a city. You know, the usual. If you ask me, it's all Penelope's fault. She would not choose a husband, and then she would just keep weaving her thread. She led us on, got our hopes up, and look where we ended up. Arphimedon was complaining about Penelope, but at least she was faithful, unlike my wife. The gods will praise her for the rest of her life.
Well, we couldn't stay in the underworld too long, or else, it's bad for our skin. Now, back to Odysseus.
I arrived to my father's farm. I sent my men off and began to walk around. I did not know if I should go up to my father and hug him, but I realized that would be really weird, and I pretended to be a complete stranger. When I went up to him, he was complaining about the fields. I then described how I hosted a stranger, which I described as myself. However, I could not keep this straight up for long. My father then talked about my departure, and I saw how sad he was. I revealed my true identity, and for proof I showed him my scar and described the fruit trees he had given me as a child.
How emotional! But things were not so long loving and back in Ithaca. The herald rumor spread, the news of the massacre of the suitors and their families were enraged. They wanted to kill Odysseus.
I was told this was the goddesses of Mount Olympus, but whatever. I went to Zeus, the abs on him though, just to get away from the fighting. And he said that people had tried to accept Odysseus as king, but they wanted to kill him. So I had to take the matters into my own hands. They wanted to take the matters into his own hands. So, like usual, I basically put here's everyone, I put them in their place and threatened the people of Ithaca. Odysseus, it's the time now. Just tell us what has happened.
Well, Todd, we swore not to fight, but Ithaca was finally at peace.
Don't you just love a happy ending? I know I do. Well, that's it. That's a wrap, folks. The real Ithaca story. The real goddesses of Mount Olympus will be airing next, so stay tuned. Thank you.